Hello everyone and welcome to our project video. My name is Doğancan Aykan and my friends are Mustafa Kirişçi and Onur Mertarslan. Me and Onur are studying mechanical engineering and Mustafa is studying electric engineering in Abdullah Gül University. This is our last project of first semester in physics. The next 9 minutes and 30 seconds we will try to talk about some ballistic knowledge. I hope you learn something useful to you after this video. Thank you and have a nice watch.
First of all, let's look how a projectile moves. Firing pin strikes the cartridge, causing tiny amount of copper within a permatube to explode. Heat and pressure increase from burning powder. The rate of combustion increases. When the pressure exceeds the amount of friction holding the bullet in place, bullet starts to move through the barrel. If you want to do more calculations after this information, we need to know the shooting angle. If we give an example from ships, this angle is simply the angle between the sea and the barrel. Of course, we assume that the sea is a smooth plane. While attempting to calculate the range, we need to know the horizontal component of the speed and the flight time. And formula of it is the time varying speed here depends on the vertical component of the speed, and the formula of it is the maximum height velocity is dependent on the vertical component and gravity. If the formula is for calculating the optimum angle to shoot the projectile as far away as possible, we will use some mathematical equalities. First, we need to know horizontal speed and flight time. Horizontal speed is, and time of flight is, as we said in finding range. After that, we will combine these formulas and get a new one, which is, in our new formula, we will assume that speed is constant for mathematical reasons. So we have our range formula just depending on angle variable. Continuing with the math, we do multiplication and get. So now we have sine theta and cosine theta. In these situations, we multiply 2 and divide the equation by 2. 2 times sine theta times cosine theta is equal to sine 2 theta. So we have the equality. So we have a simplified formula and derive it. By equating the derivation to 0, we find the maximum point. So it's v square over g is constant. We can take them out and have cosine 2 theta equals 0. Cosine 90 is 0, so theta equals 45 degrees.
Until this time, we were only learning in this direction. The formulas have been simplified and some forces in nature have been neglected. But now that we are studying advanced physics, we cannot come to see the existence of these forces. For example, air resistance or wind force. Let's just proceed the air resistance and do the operations one more time.
First, let's have a look in this graph. As we can see, when we add air resistance, maximum height and range is significantly fall. The main reason in this event is the fall of the vertical and horizontal. The formula of the air resistance is P times V square times A times CD over 2. P is air density, A is area of the projectile and CD is the resistance constant. As we can understand, V is speed. So if we add this air resistance factor, we have our new formula like range is equals to V times cosine theta times T minus parenthesis of F times T square over 2m. The F in this formula is air resistance force and m is mass of projectile. To find this formula, we use air resistance formula and Newton's second law. Newton's second law is F equals ma and air resistance is P times V square times A times CD over 2. When we unit these formulas, we find the acceleration caused by air resistance, which is air resistance force over mass of projectile. Range is equals to v times cosine theta times t minus p times v square times a times cd times cosine theta times t square over 4m. And to find maximum height, we use this formula. Hmax equals to initial of v times sine theta times t minus g plus f times sine theta over m times t square over 2. If we want to calculate the optimum angle for shooting maximum range, we will use this formula. V times cosine theta times t minus p times v square times a times cd times cosine theta over 4m times t square times d theta. And the time formula is turned to t equals to 2 times v times sine theta over parenthesis of g plus p times v square times a times cd times sine theta over. After a ton of calculation which we want to pass, because this is a 10 minutes video, we find optimum angle of 53 degrees, which is very different from the first.
And finally, we want to show you a part of the Battleship movie, for example. You can see a lot of physics in this part. There are even parts which very useful to explain inertia. With this clip of movie, I want to say see you and goodbye.
Let's drop some lead on those motherfuckers.